Chris the Nightmare Ariola, and you're watching Mission Boxing Today on YouTube.
Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? So the other day I did a video expressing my feelings about how I believe that Luis Ortiz deserves his title shot before Kurbet Pulev. Now, people were sending me this article right here that was on BoxingScene.com. Shouts out to Boxing Scene. I'll leave the article in the description box. And if you haven't already seen this article, you can click the link, read it, and you can come to your own surmise about it. But let me just read what Luis Ortiz had to say about this, and I'm going to give my opinion about it. He says, I congratulate the young man for courage, but I'm next, and that's that. Look, my team let that fight happen because the WBA and Eddie Hearn asked us for a favor, and because Klitschko didn't want to fight me, but I'm done being pushed back. It's my time, and I want my WBA belt, so yeah, I'm calling Joshua out. If he likes, he can just give up the belt, but if not, October, November sounds good to me. So it's your move, boy. To be the best, you have to beat the best, Ortiz told Boxing Scene. Now with that, you know, man. Now he says that Eddie Hearn and the WBA to ask him for a favor. Now with Eddie Hearn, he was with Eddie Hearn on a fight by fight basis, and we know that he just signed with Are you serious? I forget the dude's name. Al Heyman. How can I forget Al Heyman's name? But he just signed with Al Heyman, so maybe Hearn is kind of like backtracking a little bit. I'm not sure. And also know in December, Sauerland were sending out tweets that Pulev will be next for the winner out of Klitschko and Joshua, no matter what. So I remember Sauerland coming out months ago saying something about this. But according to Ortiz, you know, and like I said, he was with Hearn on a fight-by-fight basis. So maybe they had a better relationship then. So maybe trusting Hearn then was kind of probably in Ortiz's best interest. Maybe then. I'm not sure, man. But now it seems as if Ortiz, he doesn't want anything to do with step-aside money. I seen another article, too, where he said he doesn't want nothing to do with step-aside money. He wants his title shot. All right. Let me go ahead and read what else he had to say. He says, I'm ready for the biggest fight of my life, and it's not with regular opponents, but with no other than the world ranking of the WBA. Look, if they think I'm going to fold, they must be smoking some good shit. I've come too far. I've struggled too much in my life. I've starved one too many times as a kid in Cuba, eating only bread and water to stop now. I endured too much having to cross the dangerous waters of the Gulf to make it to the U.S. for freedom, for me and my sick little girl to now get bullied by anyone. He also goes on to say, look, boxing is a sport, not just a business, and it's not fair to me if they allow Joshua to get special treatment because someone is dishing out money. My team convinced me to let the WBA move on with the resolution because of lawsuits that were coming at the WBA president. So I agreed on the WBA terms, so they told the world and me that I was next no matter what the IBF was asking. Remember, I was the interim champ. The only reason for not fighting Usmanov was they didn't want to drug test, and that was in the bylaws of the WBA, so I was cleared by my attorneys. All I want is to be treated fair. I'm not asking for what's not mine. All right, now, one thing I will say is the IBF, now I understand what Ortiz is saying. He was promised, they said that he will fight the winner of that fight no matter what. This is where I think because the IBF is going to want their mandatory to get his shot. I know that unifications take precedence over everything else most of the time, but sometimes these sanctioning bodies, they're strict with their mandatories, especially the IBF. They will strip you in a heartbeat. And we just know how they do things, all right? Now, just because the IBF wants Pulev to get his fight next, and Sauerland said that would happen next, that has nothing to do with the WBA, although Joshua is the one that's holding both of these titles. So will Joshua give one of these belts up because Ortiz is talking about October, November, and he may put a lawsuit out? Well, Klitschko still needs to come to his decision, which he said he will in the middle of June, somewhere in there, a few weeks from now, if he's going to fight Joshua in a rematch. And Hearn, I heard Hearn say that Joshua was going to return October, November. But then I heard Joshua come out and say something like he wants to fight before then. So I'm not sure about that 100%. That's just what I heard from both sides with Hearn and Joshua. So it may come to a point where Joshua may just let the WBA title go, because Hearn has made it clear that if they don't fight Klitschko next, they will fight Pulev. But then it's going to leave Ortiz in the dark, out in the cold again. And for what? Pulev, and nothing against Pulev. He put himself in a situation after he beat Chisora. He worked his way up to that voluntary mandatory position. And then when Joseph Parker, who was the mandatory for Joshua, when he opted to fight for the vacant WBO title against Andy Ruiz Jr., then the IBF just elevated Kurbat Pulev to get his title shot next. He was the next guy in line. And then Pulev has stayed busy since then. He's fought Samuel Peter last December, and then he just fought Kevin Johnson. So Pulev will be next for Joshua, according to Eddie Hearn, if Klitschko doesn't happen. So again, if that happens, then, and if Ortiz is, I wonder if they got paperwork for all these promises, or was this just a handshake and a smile? Hopefully there was some paperwork promising him that he will fight the winner out of Klitschko and Joshua next, no matter what. Hopefully there's some type of paperwork, and I hope it just wasn't a handshake and a smile. So is this a situation where Joshua would vacate the WBA? I don't know. I really don't know, man. Right now we could just speculate and guess, man. I guess we'll have to wait for this all to play out, but I just think that but I can understand Ortiz. He, as great as us fans think that the Joshua Klitschko fight was, some fans, not all, but some fans would like to see a rematch. But these fighters that are waiting for their title shots, they're not coming from a fan's point of view. Like Ortiz concerned about him. He doesn't care about no rematches with Klitschko, and he doesn't give a damn about Pulev. You know what I mean? Just like Pulev, he doesn't care about Luis Ortiz getting his WBA shot. He's focusing on his shot. So I understand Ortiz, man, 100%. Because, and man, I mean, there's some tough fights coming up. We just can't 100% sure say that Joshua is just going to beat Klitschko and beat Pulev, although I'm favoring him in those fights, but anything can happen. And if that was to happen, then what? Does that push Ortiz back even further with his WBA title shot? So we may see Joshua vacate that WBA strap, possibly. Because if they can't pay Ortiz enough money to step aside and be quiet, again, he said he already took some, he said he already went that route. He doesn't want to do that no more. And at this stage, man, you got guys like Eric Molina. Nothing against Eric Molina, but he's fought for 2 titles in an 18-month span. He's got title shots. Berman Stavern will be in another title fight when he fights Wilder. The WBC has him as the mandatory. That's the fight that we think, according to Stavern, that fight will happen in June, or not June, but July, August, or September. That was according to Stavern. I heard that a couple of days ago on a Baylor TV interview. Stavern said he's fighting Wilder either July, August, or September. All right, so anyways, you got Wilder doing that with Stavern. So Stavern will be in another title shot. Didn't even really earn the title shot. He's only fought Derek Rossi, and he struggled, got knocked down. So he's going to be fighting for a title, or being in a title fight again in the last few years. Pulev, then the last few years. Molina, even Razvan Chiganu fought for a title against Joseph Parker. And I know it was last minute. I know the circumstances. But what I'm saying is you got guys like this that are getting title shots, multiple title shots. And then you have a guy, Chris Arreola. He fought Stavern when the WBC title was vacant, 2014. And then he fought Wilder, last year? He's had, I mean, come on, man. When is Luis Ortiz going to get one title shot? Can he get one? Can he get one title shot? Can he get one? You know what I mean? I ain't talking about that interim crap either, man. So Ortiz needs his shot. If that means that Joshua has to vacate or something like that, I guess it is what it is, man. I'm not a fanboy. I want to see these dudes that are deserving of title shots to get their shots. It's long overdue, man. And whether Ortiz wins or loses, he needs a shot at least. It's long overdue. Brian Jennings done had a title shot. Who else done had title shots around this camp, man? A lot of dudes done had title shots. You know what I mean? I'm not talking about WBA. I'm talking about just a title shot for one of the 4 major titles. Ortiz ain't had one yet. Come on, man. It's getting ridiculous. You guys let me know what you think in the comments section. I'm out.